Hello everyone, we are XBM Network. I am Lee and today I'm going to be looking at Frost. Now this game was released on the 20th of July 2018, so not that long ago. Developed by Stage Clear Studios and published by Digerati. I'm going to read a little description of you in case you don't know anything about this game. Frost is a deck building, make sure I say that right, solo survival card game set on a harsh, frozen world ravaged by a lethal storm. You must lead a group of nomads in the search of refuge, a haven away from the frost's icy grip. As well as the unrelenting threat of the frost, your arduous trek will be fraught with many other dangers such as wolves, cannibals, hunger and fatigue. Manage your cards wisely to stay alive and make it all the way to the refuge. So that's the little description on the store. It is on the store for £10.39 right now. And we're going to look through the tutorial because there's no better way to explain a car game than just sort of play through the tutorial and pick up bits as we go along. And also I'll sort of include a few things I've worked out along the way. So Frost is a card deck management game. You start with a limited set of resource cards. I can't talk. The goal of the game is to reach the refuge by travelling through various regions. Use resource cards on the region card to fulfill the requirements. Select your resources and then select the region card. So basically, the region card is that up there, my blue arrow is pointing on. You need 1 apple, 2 bits of wood, 1 person or survivor to sort of move on. So you select it, and you just move it up. Simple process of A, and then you can travel on to the next region. Now we're at the plane, it looks like we need 2 apples. The frost is a lethal storm that's always behind you. Every time you end your turn without travelling, the frost gets closer and you decrement the frost counter. Okay. Every time you travel, you outdistance the frost and add 1 to the frost counter. So for every time you, like it says, you don't move, you can't complete the region bit in one go. That sort of top left area, it says frost and it's on number 8 at the minute. That will go down and down and down. If you get to 0, you die basically. And every time you do step forward, it goes back up. So in a normal game you lose when the frost counter reaches 0. In this tutorial you won't. That's good news. Scavenging is a basic action that uses 1 survivor card to add a card to your current hand. Try it by selecting a survivor and then the highlighted button. Select the survivor over there. So that's just saying you can swap a survivor card for a random. As we on that region and plane, we didn't need any survivors to move on, but we do need 2 apples, so that's the sort of reasoning behind that. Risk a survivor and hope you get an apple. Try to use what you learned to travel through a couple of regions. Okay, so we'll use the 2 apples. That's enough to travel, so press RB. So on here need 2 survivors and 2 apples, so we're going to try and switch this out, and it gave us 1 apple. Now obviously we've got, these are fatigue cards, you can't swap them for anything, so we have to end the turn here. You deal out again, and the frost counter has gone down to 7 at the top. 1 more apple, but as you see, if you watch the top, as we travel it should go back up to 8. Yeah, there you go. The rest action allows you to remove all the fatigue cards off your hand. They're sort of like the black ones. Rest takes your whole turn, meaning that it's no longer available from the moment you use any of your cards. So you basically have to do it at the beginning or you can't do it at all. Try to rest now, so that's left trigger. It clears off that fatigue card. You draw an event card every time you travel. Events can be trades or contests. You can spend resources on trade events to get an effect. Press X button on the event to learn more. Try to travel another couple of times. So if we press X on this, it's basically saying if we can trade an apple and we will get a survivor in its place. So we can't do a lot with that on this first go. We can use 1 of the wood for the region. We're going to have to end the turn there because the one wood doesn't do anything for us. Use a couple of survivors. We've got an apple. Now let's hope this survivor turns into an apple. No. Bit of wood. So we're going to have to end the turn again. Now that count has gone down to 5 in the top. Another apple. And just for an example, if we did need another survivor, using it at the top, gets rid of your apple, you get a survivor in its place. You can spend resources on trade events to get an effect. Yeah, we know that, don't we? That's what we read before. So, wood. So this time, in the place of a survivor, we've got a chance of getting some wood, and it's only a 50% chance. So we could. There's obviously risk in this. As you can see, we've got nothing. Try again. Nothing. This game hates me. Right, so we're going to have to end the turn. Count as at 5 again. We use that wood for the region. I mean, we could try to get a random one with that. Well, let's just see if this campsite actually will come good eventually. There we go. We can travel on. Now this is they're not all good things like trades. This time we've got things that want to hurt you. So a wolf is a contest type event, meaning that if you don't beat it, it will apply its damage when you travel. Right now there's nothing you can do about it, so just travel. So let's just use what we can there. We just need a couple of apples. So we're going to have to end the turn. So basically it's going to show at some point you can get like an arrow. And it hits it and gets rid of it, so it doesn't hurt you at the end of your turn. Just swap a survivor for a survivor. I need to. There we go. We need an apple. So then we can travel. So at this point, when we travel, is where you get hurt. You'll see near your face on the left-hand side, it's showing up 4. You have to click the left thumbstick in before we can do anything else. And that's you taking damage down to 3. Another wolf is here, still nothing you can do about, so travel. The tutorial's basically trying to kill us as best it can. There we go, we've fulfilled all the region. And travel again. You can also sacrifice a survivor with a damage. Try it. So, there you go, rather than taking the damage yourself, you can kill one of your survivor cards. You draw a new set of 2 idea cards when you travel. So this tutorial is basically bringing in one thing at a time, but when you play it, this all happens every time from the start. And you can add 1 every turn you spend in a region. So basically up here, to be able to get idea cards are cards that can be added to your deck by paying their price, yeah, which is what I was going to try and show you. So if I press X on there now, the cost is some wood, and it's showing you it will discard the wood, and then it will give you a weapon, which is basically an arrow. So we can do that with this piece of wood. Press on that, and it comes down into your hand. Now use your weapon to beat the wolf, fulfill the region requirement, and travel. So just press on the wolf with the arrow. That clears that away. And now all we need to do is fulfill the requirement. So I need to end the turn. Oh, that's no good. We need apples. And nothing. End the turn again. Our counter's down to 4. Apple. This needs to turn into an apple. No. End the turn again. Down to 3. As you can see, it's a distance left 11, so we need to travel 11 more times to complete the level. Okay, some idea cards have 2 possible effects. Basic effect on top, activated effect on the bottom. Try to zoom in on the available idea card by pressing X. So there we go. So the wood helps us So we can draw a card instead of some wood, or if you use another wood, so for a second time, it gives you the option to draw 3 random cards. So basically you just need to come up, decide what's best, what you need. And what's just come up here. Activating a card will use or consume a resource. There are also cards that are activated by consuming themselves. Zoom on the second idea card. So this needs 2 apples, which it will discard off after. And then it's basically saying this card will also be discarded, but you will get 4 random cards. To use the activated effect on a card by pressing Y button on the card, and you use the basic effect by pressing the A button on the card. So that's sort of how you choose between what you want to do. Try to buy an idea and use its activated effect. Note the difference between when you remove a resource, it quits your deck, and using it, it stays in your deck. I'm going to put 2 apples on this. Up here. It comes into the deck, and then by pressing Y, we got to draw 4 cards. Temperature dictates your starting hand size for the day. Some regions, some events, and some idea cards modify the current temperature. Terror cards are special and rarer fatigue cards. Take care, because if you have 3 of them in your hand, you lose the game. So terror cards, that one is just drawn, which is black, but scarier, I suppose. That one's just a normal fatigue one over there. You have now the basic knowledge needed to play Frost. You can find additional instructions in the options screen. Press the menu button. So you can try finish this game or start a new one by going back to the main. We'll just try and finish this one off. We've come this far. I need a couple of apples in that region. So we can travel, but we are going to get hurt. Let's just see. That brings that down. Now if I use another wood on it, we can draw 3. And look at that. Randomly, got an arrow. So obviously this game does rely on some luck. And we can get rid of the wolf before we travel, which means we won't now take any damage. Right, so just have to look around. I don't need an arrow, so that the idea at the top's not needed. Need 2 apples to get the 4 cards, and we don't have 2 apples yet. So let's just, I think we're just going to have to end the turn early. Use what we can with 1 apple short, end the turn. And it's going to be loads of wood, which is absolutely brilliant. So we have to end the turn again. Use that and then travel. A wolf is back. Any way of getting an arrow yet? So let's make sure we get an arrow. The top right of that card shows a survivor, so to bring it down into your deck, use a survivor. And then you'll see we need some wood. And the arrow can take away the wolf. Which just leaves us actually completing the regions area. We need 2 apples, which we can't get at the minute. There we go. We've got the counter back up to 4. So that's not good. All that fatigue and 1 bit of wood is absolutely useless to us. We have to end the turn straight away. We've got an arrow this time. That can get rid of the wolf. Now, this is where you have to decide. You want the 2 apples to use on the region, or use the 2 apples to unlock 4 other cards. Let's just risk it. Do that. And what we got here? We're not really much better off for that. We're still 1 apple short. So use wood, draw 3 cards, luckily an apple, and then we can move on. And this game, obviously it starts off feeling basic, but it does get quite addictive. And as you play through the proper campaign, there's different difficulty levels. You can do unlock a custom difficulty level, so you can up certain things, down others, and it will give you like an overall difficulty rating. And as you keep playing games, you unlock different idea cards, different regions. So in your next playthrough, you might have a completely different card you can use in your game. So it is really good at like making you want to come back, play more. It rewards you for playing more, which is what you want, really. I'm gonna hope this survivor turns into an arrow. And it didn't, so we're gonna have to travel and take some damage. Four apples. Now we can pass on the damage to that or kill that survivor, or I think I'm going to take the damage and use that survivor there. Oh, I don't know why. We don't need a arrow. End the turn. We're short of a lot of apples right now. The campsite has only given us a chance to earn wood. We need apples to get that, so that's no good to us. Let's just take that down to 2. So we're down to 1. Now I know it said it wasn't going to kill us in the tutorial, so we might actually find out if it was lying or not. But in a normal game, this would be our last go unless you travelled. And I can't see a way of actually doing it because we still need 2 apples. That might turn into 1. Nope, turn into some wood. Oh, and it lied to us because it actually killed us in the tutorial. But as you can see here, this is where it says new. So we've unlocked a new cleaver, I think that is, idea card. And it's a way of using wood to make and you can choose, you can either use wood to get an arrow or wood and turn it into 2 wood, looking at that. So that can come in handy if you're short. There we go, it's off. I'll just quickly show you. So in your collection, this is where it shows you the cards you've unlocked, and I think it should give you a good idea of how many there is. So the idea cards we have at the minute, and you can see all these. I'm flicking through, all them are there to back to the start. So there's quite a lot to unlock, and the same with events. So events are sometimes good trades, or the contests like the wolf. I'm going to come across different baddies like cannibals, I think it said at some point as you play through the game. And if you go to classic, this is where you can choose, and at the minute the option is only to choose an easy game, but I know it does unlock a custom game where you can sort of play around with the difficulties a bit more. So hopefully that gives you some idea of the deck building card game that is Fraught. Hopefully I hope that's quite clear as well. I mean, obviously I wanted to go through the tutorial because that explains it probably the best. But it is addictive, and I did play it over and over, and it's one of them games you think, oh, just one more go, because it's even on easy, it is really difficult to get through right to the very end. There's times where you'd be one step away, and you just end up dying. So thanks for watching, everybody. Look out on our Twitter for all sorts of different giveaways. Keep your eyes peeled on YouTube. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and we will keep you up to date with lots of new Xbox One games coming out either very soon in the future or have just come out. Thanks, everybody. See you soon. Bye bye.